What's up YouTube? It's your girl briananicole and I'm back with another video. Today I am doing my birth story. I'm super excited to do this video. I got my stuff typed up so I stay on track. It is all in order. Look, highlighted. This is about to be nice. So I'm literally just about to jump right in because I have a lot to talk about and I don't want to waste any time. This is my birth story. All pregnancies are different. Everyone has their own birth story. Any information that I discussed in this video in regards to HELLP syndrome was me researching things on Google, or it was information that was given to me from my doctor. I am not a medical professional in any kind of way, so if there is something in this video that you feel you want to learn more about, or you feel you have a symptom or anything, whatever the case may be, please talk to your doctor. That way you can get the help you need if you feel like what I discuss might pertain to you or anything like that. Alright, so I do want to start off by saying every pregnancy is different. I've said that in probably a majority of my videos, and I know you guys have heard me say it already, and I'm so glad that I kind of kept that mindset because I feel like my girls' pregnancies were a little bit easier. I would say with my first pregnancy, I know I was in labor for over 20 hours, and as far as pain, like my pain level goes, I would give that like a 2 out of 10. I got an epidural with her, my epidural worked, and there was really no pain after that. Prior to the epidural, my contractions, my pain was probably at like a 3. I didn't tap out and say I needed the epidural, but because it was my first baby and my pregnancy, or I was progressing kind of slow, my doctors encouraged me to get the epidural so that I could relax and sleep because I was exhausted. And they assured me that it would help speed up the process. Sure enough, once I woke up, I was much further along and, you know, things were looking good. With my sixth pregnancy, with my second pregnancy, I was in labor for 6 hours. It was very quick. She came out in like a push and a half or 2 pushes the most. And it was great. I went from like 6 centimeters to 10 centimeters in literally like 15 minutes. It happened so fast. I did feel the ring of fire with her. And I felt like when I was pushing her, I felt that. So I don't know if that meant, you know, that it just, she came so fast that my epidural kind of wore off. I don't know. But I know that I got the epidural with her too. I didn't feel any contractions throughout like that whole part of the labor, so that was great, but I did feel that part and it wasn't that bad. I probably would give that like a 4 out of 10. And with this pregnancy, I was in labor for around 12 hours exact, I believe, and my epidural failed, and I'll get into that later, but yes, it sucked, and I would probably give that pain level like an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. However, I will say it later in the video too, I wouldn't get an epidural if I were to have another baby. I would pass on that, and I'll tell you why later. The first part of this story is everything that happened leading up to my induction. I did get an emergency induction. I was 35 weeks and 5 days when they started my induction process, and I had my baby at 35 weeks and 6 days. So leading up to that, the first night I went into labor and delivery triage was Saturday, May 27th. I was 32 weeks and 2 days. If you saw my hospital bag, you'll see that I kind of already talked about this night and kind of already discussed this. So I'll kind of make it brief right now. I basically went in for a really bad back pain. The doctors didn't really know what it was. He pretty much narrowed it down to muscle spasms and or the fact that the baby was just so big. It was just like normal in this part of my pregnancy to expect back pain. So that's what it came down to. While I was there, the pain was so bad. I put on here it was about an 8 out of 10 on the pain level that I started having contractions. So they gave me a shot to stop my contractions. They gave me Tylenol to help with the pain. And that was pretty much it. My baby's heart rate had dropped just for a second, and the doctor said that that was due to all of the stress on my body, being in pain for so long and having the medications, that he just didn't like it, but it came right back up and he was fine the rest of the time that they monitored him, so it wasn't a red flag for him. But yes, overall, doctor narrowed that down to muscle spasms and or normal back pain. So I didn't think anything of it. So then fast forward a couple weeks later, I went back to triage. This was on Sunday, June 18th, and I was 35 weeks and 3 days. And I went back for the same thing, back pain. But this time it was really bad. A 10 out of 10 on the pain scale. I was sleeping peacefully and it woke me up out of my sleep. And the moment I woke up, I just started crying because it was hurting so bad. I felt like I had been hit by a truck or something and I just couldn't breathe. On our way out the door to go to the hospital, I threw up all over the place and I started getting chills. So I was just trying to hurry up and get to the hospital. When I got there, the doctor, you know, they hooked me up and everything and started doing their routine work. So they had to do blood work and all of that again. They gave me fluids to kind of hydrate me. They said I was a little dehydrated, and also because I threw up, they wanted to make sure I had fluids. They gave me Tylenol again to help with the pain. They did my blood work to see if anything else could be triggering this pain or my vomiting. They came back with my blood work a couple hours later, and they let me know that they saw that my liver enzymes were a little high. They were in the 60s, and according to my doctor, the normal range for liver enzymes is 20 to 30. So mine weren't too high, but they were a little elevated, but nothing too concerning to keep me. So once the pain stopped, they observed me for a little bit longer to make sure that baby was good and that I was fine. And then they let me go home and discharged me around 5 a.m. Monday morning. So on to the third day, which was Monday. I ended up going back to triage that night around 9-10 o'clock. So this is like 17 hours later that I was right back in there. And I only went because I was having consistent contractions throughout the entire day. Like once they discharged me and I came home, literally like an hour after being home, I just started having contractions. And I didn't know if it was because of the medicine or like what. So I started to time the contractions and things like that. And by the time the nighttime came, they became further apart and they were less consistent. So I wasn't too worried about it. But it's like a mommy instinct. I don't know. But something kept telling me, go to the hospital, go to the hospital. So I went anyways, and I just told them I just wanted to see if I was dilating. I just gave them some excuse. I did tell them I was having contractions, but the moment I said they were inconsistent, I didn't want them to be like, okay, well, why are you here? Because something was telling me to go. So I just told them I wanted to see if I was dilating or like anything like that. So they checked me to make sure. So let's see, during that time, I had a new nurse, so of course she had to order her own routine blood work and things like that. She also ordered for me to get an ultrasound on my kidneys and my gallbladder, which I really appreciated because at this point, this was like the third or fourth time through my whole third trimester that I had gone to the doctor for like pain. Even though that wasn't for this visit, she saw that in my report. So she figured she'd run some further tests since they didn't. And she concluded that I did have gallstones. I appreciate her doing that and kind of figuring that out and letting me know, because I felt like, okay, this is not normal pregnancy pain or back spasms. So when she told me that, it kind of started connecting the pieces and I was like, okay, that makes sense. I also learned that pregnant women have a higher chance of getting gallstones, which was interesting to me. But anywho, so around 1 a.m., my nurse came in and she told me everything looked fine. So this was after all of the ultrasounds and everything like that. I had got an answer for what could possibly be causing that pain, and everything else was pretty much fine. Like I told you at the beginning, I wasn't going in for pain in the first place, but I like that she did still kind of go back in my report and check on that. So that was pretty cool. So around 1 in the morning, she told me everything looked fine and that baby looked fine. So she told me she was going to wrap things up and get my discharge paperwork ready. Cool. I was excited to go home. At this point, everyone is tired. My mom was in the car with my 2- and 3-year-old because they weren't allowed in the triage room, just me and my husband. And by this time, my 2-year-old had started crying. So I told my husband, go down to the car, cheer her up, let her know that we're here because she was crying for the both of us, and that I'll be coming down soon because I thought I was going home. So I'm sitting there waiting. This is like 1:15. I'm waiting on the nurse. 2 a.m. comes around and nothing. One nurse came in to see if I wanted graham crackers and water, and that was it. And then she like left. So by this time, another hour went by, and now it's 3 a.m. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, where's my nurse? So she finally comes in and she's a little hesitant with me. And she finally tells me that she reviewed my labs from that Sunday visit. And then she reviewed them with her labs and noticed that my liver enzymes are now at a 250, you guys. So it went from 60 to 250 in less than 24 hours. So because of that, she let me know that I wasn't going to be going home, that they wanted to move me into an observation room to wait until like their daytime staff comes in to see what would be the best treatment plan for me. At this point, I'm not really sure what was going on. I was just so confused and tired. I was just like, okay, just move me to a better room because the triage beds are so uncomfortable. So once I got to my observation room, I was more comfortable, and I was just kind of waiting for them to tell me what was going on. One doctor let me know that they were waiting for like day shift hours so that they can contact their team out in San Diego to see what would be the best course of treatment for me. Still at this time, I'm not knowing why they needed to contact these people or like what was going on. I called my mom and my husband, who were like downstairs. I let them know, well, this was around 2 or 3 when my nurse came back in, sorry. I called my family, let them know that I probably wouldn't be going home without a baby because my nurse or doctor just seemed really like hesitant. So they went home, grabbed the hospital bags, got a little nap in, and they came back around 6:30 in the morning. So around 10 in the morning, that's when I was told that I had developed HELLP syndrome and that I may have to get induced for my safety and for baby safety. I had never heard of HELLP syndrome before, so I'm just thinking it was like some like small pregnancy complication. So much was happening, I didn't think to like search HELLP syndrome at the time. I was just taking information from my doctors and going with the flow. My husband had told me after the fact that right when they mentioned it, he was actually over on the couch and he searched HELLP syndrome and did not tell me what he found because he didn't want me to get stressed out, which I appreciate him for, because being home and searching it for this video would have definitely stressed me out. So I'm gonna jump into that. Overall, they ended up obviously inducing me, and they started that process around 1:30 on Tuesday the 20th. So HELLP syndrome, and this is based off information on Google and from my doctor. Again, I'm not a medical professional, so yes. HELLP stands for hemolysis, I think I'm saying that right, which is anemia, which I have, and I had it during pregnancy and before. Elevated liver enzymes, low platelet count, and preeclampsia. Most women that develop HELLP syndrome are diagnosed with preeclampsia prior. HELLP is usually developed before 37 weeks and it progresses quickly. Apparently it's very rare. It only happens in 1 to 2 out of 10 women, and that's about 0.5% of all pregnancies. It's far more severe than preeclampsia and can be fatal to moms. And the reason it can be fatal is because women with HELLP syndrome have a higher risk of having their liver rupture or having a stroke. And some other symptoms of HELLP syndrome are nausea, headache, belly pain, and swelling. So for me, I wasn't diagnosed with preeclampsia during this pregnancy or any of my pregnancies, but I've always had slightly elevated blood pressure. And that was with my previous pregnancies too. So I never thought nothing of it. I just thought that's just what happens when I'm pregnant. But what really put the icing on the cake was the elevated liver enzymes. That's how they were able to determine that I had HELLP syndrome. Induction was different than my last pregnancy. With my last pregnancy, my water started trickling, so I remember them immediately just starting me up on Pitocin and getting things rolling. With this induction process, it was a little bit different because my body was not in labor. I assume that's why they had to go a different route. They gave me a pill to soften my cervix, and they gave me that same pill, I believe like 4 hours later, to continue to soften my cervix and help it open up. And then they started me on antibiotics that they normally would test a mom for at 37 weeks. And if they test you for whatever this issue is, I don't know, and it comes back positive, you need the antibiotic. And if it's not positive, then you don't. Like I said, I don't know what that test is, but I never made it to 37 weeks to do the test. So they treated me as if I had whatever that, is, and they gave me the antibiotics. So after the pills, I got the antibiotics, and then they started me on Pitocin. I got that epidural at 5.5 centimeters, but it failed. It did not work. By 6 centimeters, I was feeling everything. I rated that a 9 out of 10 on the pain scale. It was bad, but if I were to have another baby, which I'm not, but if I were to, I wouldn't get the epidural again because I did it. So I just feel like, okay, well, you did it once, you can do it again. It was not like, oh my God, I'm not gonna make it through the night if I don't get the epidural, but it was intense. I would say my support system made all the difference. So my husband, my doula, my nurse, my doctors, my mom, my best friend, everyone that was there just giving me everything I needed, really being there for me, holding my hand, helping me through the contractions, looking at the screen, warning me when a contraction was starting. Just everything really helped me. I would definitely tell a mom, if you have amazing support and you feel like you have a high pain tolerance, I mean, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't sit here and say you have to get the epidural. I don't think so. But everyone has, like I said, every labor is different, and listen to your doctors. If they're telling you that you need epidural for whatever reason, or to help your body progress through labor or whatever, definitely listen to your doctor's advice. But it's manageable. I definitely feel like labor without the epidural is doable. Once the doctor told me it was time to push, I didn't feel any pain. I felt great. I was ready to just push and meet my son. And I couldn't even, like any other mom says, once the baby is out and you hear that cry, it was all worth it. The pain immediately stops, and yeah, it just all goes away. Okay, so here's my room. So I'm laying here in the bed. Baby's hooked up to the monitor right here. Just a nice couch right here, and then they also have a chair, which is nice. I think, hold on, see, I am not used to filming on a phone. Couch, I think the chair is nice. Usually in the other hospitals that we've delivered in, it's only been a chair, so when the girls do come back, they will have somewhere to sit with daddy, and my mom would also have space. So I really like it. It's really spacious in here. There's the little baby bed when he comes out, if we are gonna deliver. And around the corner is the bathroom and the tub and shower. But because I'm hooked up, I can't get up and show you guys all of that. I already had my IV put in earlier to get fluids. So my fluids is already gone, a little IV bag. But yeah, guys, so this is where I've been for the last, what is that, 6 hours? 6.5 hours. I think we got here. No, it wasn't. It was like 10:30, so 5 hours. Yeah, so I'll keep you guys updated to see what's gonna actually happen.
Hold up.
We'll let you relax. All right, 10 seconds. Close your eyes.
Who drink that?
Huh?
That's a shot, baby. That's a shot. You want it?
No.
Oh, she knows what that is. Uh-oh.
The other way. The other way.
She knows. She's like, I don't want that.
Because Nova was 6'2". He looks smaller than Nova, so I'm gonna say 5.
So good.
This recovery was definitely different, so I'm going to talk about the things related to the HELLP syndrome that I had to go through during my recovery. And those were, one, that I had to get my blood drawn every hour. So that was annoying, on top of, you know, already being poked a lot. It's hard for them to find my veins. So when I get an IV, I think I had an IV in 3 different locations during this pregnancy. I had an IV in my arm when I got into triage. And once I was officially admitted, they moved the IV to my hand to make it more like comfortable for me when I'm like holding baby and stuff. That's why they always do it in the hand. And I had to get another IV in this hand. Yes, I had to get iron through an IV to help my iron levels go back up. So the iron was in this hand. The regular one throughout my whole like labor and delivery was in this hand with like fluids and stuff going through it. So I was hooked up to a lot. And that was also very different. And then, you know, the nurses are coming in every 15 minutes, blood pressure every 15 minutes, this and that. So that on top of getting my blood drawn every hour, yes, it was constant. Nurses were in there a lot. And then they wrapped these blue things around my calves to make sure that I didn't get blood clots in my legs, and I guess to help with the swelling. And that was also different. Other than that, everything else in recovery was the same with my other pregnancies, as far as the nurse coming in every 15 minutes, checking my belly. Pain level was the same, bleeding was the same, nothing like that was different. And now postpartum. So I have 2 parts to postpartum, or the physical health part of recovery and the mental health part of recovery. So I'm going to talk about both. So as far as the physical recovery side goes, I'm going to show you guys 3 things that you have to have for your recovery that is going to help you like no other. Now this is for vaginal deliveries. I don't know if it's the same for C-section, honestly. First of all, this little bottle that they give you to like spray or to wash, cleanse, spray, clean, whatever you want to call it. This is amazing. Don't buy one. They will give you one. I see them on Amazon for like $8, $9, and that's not a lot, but why? This one does exactly what it needs to do. And these wipes, I get these at Kaiser out of the pharmacy. You can just buy them. They're like $6, so they're not too much. Or you can also get them on Amazon, AER. So that's the ones, these are the ones I have gotten all 3 pregnancies. But I will say that the hospital I delivered at this time did not give me that exact kind. It was a different like label. It was different brand or whatever, but it was the same thing. And I just know Kaiser, that's where I go to get my medicine. So I saw those and got more. And the Dermoplast spray. This Dermoplast spray is amazing. Recommend, 10 out of 10. It is so helpful. It says provides fast pain relief, cools and comforts, and it's soothing. And it does all of that. So for vaginal deliveries, I recommend those 3 products for sure. I liked having my bag in the bathroom. I kept this whole bag in the bathroom for my entire like postpartum. It had my always pads in here, my Pampers, all the good stuff. So as far as physical recovery, those are the 3 must-have items I recommend for vaginal deliveries. And just to be patient, physical recovery, it gets better each day. I was really swollen the first week or 2 of postpartum. I had some issues with like blood clots or passing blood clots, which was really different and scary. Sorry if that's too much information, but it's real. That's what we go through during recovery. I went to the hospital a few times just to make sure I didn't have any blood clots and to make sure everything was okay, considering everything I had gone through during delivery. And thank God I was fine, no blood clots, and everything was looking great. So here I am, 1 month postpartum, no swelling. I'm doing really well and I feel really good. Now over to the mental health side. This was the hardest part of my recovery. This was way harder than the physical side. And that was my experience with baby blues. Baby blues affect 60 to 80% of all new mothers. It usually begins 2 to 3 days after delivery and it can last up to 2 weeks. Whereas postpartum depression can occur between the first and 3rd week of giving birth and could last up to a year. It could occur anytime within that year, and it usually needs treatment to get better. So those are the main differences between the 2. And that's how I was able to understand that I had baby blues with my first pregnancy and also with this pregnancy. I didn't get it with my second pregnancy at all. Every pregnancy is different. So the baby blues for me began around 5 days postpartum. And I looked at the calendar prior to doing this video, and that was June 26th. And I started feeling better on July 10th because I posted a Facebook post about me finally feeling better. And that was exactly 2 weeks from each other. And I didn't even notice that until, like I said, I started writing the notes for this video. So my baby blues literally lasted, again, 2 weeks, just like it did with my first pregnancy. And I'm just gonna go through some of the things I experienced to just keep it simple. Avoiding people / isolating myself, negative thoughts, crying daily, and if I didn't cry that day, I was fighting back tears, not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel, feeling like a burden to my partner and family, fatigue, feeling empty, not feeling like myself, a lack in interest in doing things that I normally enjoy. I was irritable and I was crying for no reason. Yeah, so that was rough. I don't know any other way to put it. It was really hard. And until I was ready to talk, I kind of just withdrew and like kept it all in. But I managed to always write down what I was feeling and what I was thinking so that I could look back at it and really ask myself. And I would kind of like talk to myself to say, do you really feel this way? Excuse me. I would say, do you really feel this way? Is this really what you feel? And part of me would be like, well, no, I don't feel that today. Or yes, I still feel that, but I don't want to feel that. And I don't know, for me personally, I feel like that did kind of help me get through it, but also prayer. God got me through. My husband, I finally had opened up to him about exactly what I was thinking, what I was feeling, and just letting him be there for me, letting my mom be there for me, and just utilizing my support system. So if you are a mom that's dealing with baby blues, I would say utilize your support system. If you feel like you don't have that, reach out to a friend. If you feel like you don't have that, tell your doctor. You can inbox me. So many of us moms, 60 to 80% is a lot. So a lot of us have been there. And it's hard. It is. But like I said, one thing about the baby blues, according to like my doctor as well as online, it only lasts a few weeks. So if you're feeling like you have the baby blues and you're coming up on 2-3 weeks and you're starting to feel better, or you do start feeling better, that is great. If you feel like this is lasting for months and you feel like it's not getting any better and you may have postpartum depression, I definitely recommend talking to your friends and family. And because we all deserve to be happy and to get that help we need. But that could be a whole nother video. I don't want to ramble on too much about it, but you are not alone. It does hopefully for all moms out there that are struggling with either or, baby blues or postpartum depression, that it gets better for you. I'll pray for all the moms out there because I know how it is personally, and it's hard. It's not easy. And here I am, like I said, 1 month postpartum, and I'm feeling great physically and mentally. Thank God. It even makes me emotional sometimes thinking about where I am right now and where I was a few weeks ago, and the fact that I am able to talk about it without crying, and I am able to feel proud of myself for getting to this point because I didn't think I would. Yeah, this was the worst baby blues between this pregnancy and my first pregnancy. So I don't know how many times I could say, you're not alone, and to talk to anybody, but it does make a difference and it does help. So anyways, guys, that is it for this video. My next video is going to be a fun one with my husband and I, so you can check the description below to see what that video is going to be. And I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this video up right here. I can't talk today because it's already at like 25 minutes, guys. So I'll see you guys in another video. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And I'll see you guys again soon. Bye.